Hey guys, I just want to show you my super fucking cute outfit today. Vintage Dior. Obsessed. So shall we get into the video? How are you guys? I am very excited to be here. Of course. Sitting with you guys, chatting. I do want to talk about how when you start becoming your best version, when you start embodying your most authentic self, your most beautiful self, your most abundant self, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you want to see it, a lot of the people in your life are gonna follow it. Why? Because if you're anything like me, you were probably a big people pleaser. You were probably living not as your authentic self. You were lost in the sauce. You were trying to be somebody who you weren't for so long. Because maybe in your childhood you were taught to play it small. You were taught that you were too much. You were taught that you were ugly. You were told that you were ugly. You were told that you're doing too much. You're playing it big to do it smaller, etc., etc. So, disclaimer, I could only talk about the things that occur in my life, and I could only talk about my personal experiences. This is in no way, shape, or form any advice. Like, this is just me chatting about my personal experience in hopes to maybe help and inspire you to live a more authentic, abundant, free life. I grew up in a household where, let me back it up. For the moment I came into this world, my mom always told me I was a ray of sunshine, that I would light up any room, and I was just very happy as a child. I remember being young and my stepmom telling me, "You're so optimistic, Erica," and I didn't even know what that meant. But I just remember that so clearly. I was just always a positive child. I was always so happy and excited about life, right? So, as I grew up, children are sponges. We, as a child, we are sponges. So anything you tell us, we're going to believe to be true. You know, I remember being young and everybody always coming up to my mom and complimenting my hair and saying how beautiful I was and this and that. But then I also had a family member who always told me that I was so ugly and I was not photogenic and I wasn't pretty, and like my sister was prettier than me and X, Y, and Z. So it really got me to believe as an adult that I lacked beauty. And especially in my middle school years and high school years, I physically manifested being ugly because I thought I was ugly. I plucked out all my eyebrows because I wanted thin eyebrows like everybody else, and I naturally had thicker eyebrows, and I plucked them all out and it ruined the shape of my face. And you know, just reflecting on all this, like I fully did like create my reality being young, being ugly, because I thought I was ugly. As I've grown up and become more embodied into who I am and my authentic self, I have released a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, and a lot of limiting beliefs about myself, but also about like the way I look. I grew up in a household with a lot of unworthiness. I mean, I went through so much trauma in my childhood that created this unworthiness within me. So I started people pleasing in order to gain some type of love and affection, to feel like I was loved no matter what. I invalidated myself and would always bend over backwards for people in order to receive love. And as I've grown up and I've realized that this is not the answer, I realized that in order to be successful and happy in life, you need some degree of selfishness. And I mean that in a way of like, obviously like not caring about, like obviously you still care about others and you give and you share and you lead with love and you lead with light, but I'm saying it in a way of becoming so selfish that you always put yourself first. Like I was in a long-term relationship And even in the beginning stages of that relationship, I was manipulated, I was taken for granted of, I was in a very toxic relationship from the beginning. I mean, I graduated high school in 2012, and that's the year I met him. And when we graduated high school, he didn't want me to have an Instagram. And this was the height of Instagram. This was the height of the fashion influencer and all that stuff. And I really wanted to do that. I knew I had the best style ever. But I was scared that if I told him no, I wouldn't be loved as much. And I felt like in order to be loved, I had to listen to the controlling behavior he gave me. And thankfully we made it alive. We're long gone past that stage in my life. But circling back to just always being a people pleaser in order to gain love and validation is you're essentially abandoning yourself. You're abandoning who you are and what you want and what you need out of life. So as I started to gain this clarity and step back into my power and take back my power, essentially, I really noticed how a lot of the people in my life only liked me at that version of me, aka the version of me that was playing it small, that wasn't confident, didn't think she was beautiful, that didn't think what she had to offer the world was valuable, didn't believe in her dreams, didn't believe in herself. And the moment I started to essentially pour myself into self-love, because that is the foundation to everything, I really started to see how these people in my life dropped away, because they only liked me at that version of me because they could control me. They only liked me at that version of me because maybe when we would go out, they would get attention and I wasn't a threat to their attention. You know, now when I go out with those people and I get attention, like you could just feel, I mean, I don't go out with them, but when I was transitioning to this version of myself that's so confident and feels so beautiful and knows she's beautiful, knows she's hot, knows what she has to offer, these people, when I was transitioning to who I am today, these people, I could just feel the energy. Like it was like a jealous energy, and I didn't understand it. I wasn't able to comprehend why on earth would anybody feel threatened by me. And it's because they knew me at a certain version of me that no longer existed. They knew me at a version of me where they felt like they were in control because I wasn't a threat. I mean, I've had pretty friends all my life. So as I've gained my confidence and have stepped into my most beautiful self, and I think I'm so evolving, I think I could be more beautiful than I am now. Because I truly believe that your inner beauty reflects your outer beauty. None of those people are in my life anymore. Not one. I'm not even joking when I say I don't even really I think I have one real friend, and she doesn't live here. She lives in LA. She's been my childhood friend since I was, I think, 11 years old. I don't have any friends in this new version of myself. And I don't think I'm sad about it. I've made peace with that, but it does make me feel, I don't know, I guess the best is yet to come, because there has to be somebody out there who loves me for this version of myself. I feel like I have so much more to offer the world in this version of myself, because I've learned to love myself so much that now I'm able to love others unconditionally. I've learned to love myself unconditionally that now I'm able to love others unconditionally. Nobody also talks about when you're transitioning into this new version of yourself, your most beautiful version of yourself, your most authentic version of yourself. You start to grieve your old self. You start to almost have imposter syndrome, like you feel like you're pretending to be this person, but like in reality you've always been this person, and all you have to do is dig deeper to find her, to be them, to be him, to be her. If you know anything about quantum physics, you know that scientifically proven that all of our timelines exist in this now moment. So you could rewire your energy to be this version of yourself who maybe makes X amount of money, who maybe has a dream career, or whatever it is that you want. Or you could continue and entertain another timeline where maybe you're struggling to pay your bills, or you're working a job you hate, or you're in a toxic relationship. And I feel like I've been able to manifest or co-create my reality with the universe by playing with these energies. Like, I'm not even joking. 2019, I think it was when, right before I moved out into my first apartment, I was testing this theory because I learned about it on YouTube. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk around like I have a huge following and I'm inspiring people to become a better version of themselves, to dress the way they want, to live the most authentic version of themselves. Mind you, I'm literally walking around embodying this energy, and I walk into a place to pick up a juice, and the girl goes, oh my god, you look like you could be like the Hadid's best friend. And I'm just like, energy doesn't lie, guys. Like, let's have fun with this reality, and let's play with this frequency. Let's play with the energy. You want to make $10,000 a month? How does a version of you act? That version of you that makes it $10,000 a month, because it is a reality. It's happening right now. You're just not tapped into the frequency. How does she act? How do they act? What do they do? What do they buy? Where do they go? Who do they hang out with? What's your morning routine? What's your night routine? What's your daily routine? What do they do for work? How are they handling their emotions? How are they going through life? How are they thinking when they encounter an obstacle in their life? Do they give up? Or do they see it as initiation? Do they see it as moving forward and an opportunity to level up? You know, yesterday I received like crazy chargebacks on my Shopify account from my website. And the older version of me who had a bad relationship with money would have freaked out and would have been so upset. And I was like, no. I'm tapped into this frequency that my relationship with money is now healed, and I'm so abundant, I'm financially free, that it's okay if there was multiple chargebacks. Like, it's totally okay. It happens. I have the money. Remain afloat, and more so. It's all energy, guys. It's all energy. The way we want to live our lives, like that version of ourselves that exists now, already exists in this now moment. So how can we tap into it? How can we get closer to that energy? You know, a couple months ago, I was really struggling to pay my rent. I didn't know how I was going to be able to do it and whatever. And I didn't want to per se get a normal job because I knew it was going to take away from what I was doing already. And I was entertaining the thoughts of getting a job. And I heard from my guides, if you think you're going to need to get a job, then you're going to need to get a job. Your thoughts create your reality. So it's like, if you think you need to do something, you are going to have to do it. It starts with your mind. If you think you're going to need to get a part-time job to stay afloat, you're going to need to get a part-time job. But if you feel like, no, this month I'm going to make X amount with my business, and I claim it, and then I release it, and I allow the universe to do the work that I cannot see, because with the law of rhythm, everything is constantly moving, it's probably going to fall into your lap effortlessly. I heard, I'm meant to be an energy worker. I'm meant to do things different. I'm meant to lay the path out differently. I'm meant to create worlds within myself and see them be reflected out. And for so long, my mind was working against me for so long. And that's why I feel like these next couple years of my life, my mind has finally healed and is now listening to my heart, where I genuinely believe that my life is going to change. I already know it. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it. I feel like I've talked a lot for 17 minutes already. But the point is of all this is to really become so obsessed with yourself. But become obsessed with yourself from like a humble perspective. Obviously not from any narcissistic energy. women can be narcissists too. I think a lot of society doesn't talk about this, and I've encountered tons in my life. And I think obviously at that time it's because I had a little bit of narcissistic qualities about myself, where maybe I would manipulate people to get my way or whatever, X, Y, and Z. And it was very subconscious. Like, I didn't even know I was doing it until I realized one day, like, wow, I also could be a little manipulative, and that's not cool. So that's like another realm of like work, which is shadow work, which I truly believe everybody should be doing, but we shouldn't get so stuck in that loop of healing and that cycle and stuff. I've realized that becoming obsessed with myself in a healthy way, in an unconditional loving way, in a self-love way, has been the best thing for me. Being obsessed with how I feel, being obsessed with how my relationships are going, being obsessed with my work, my physical health, my mental health, my emotional health, being obsessed with the things that are going to make me a better person. And when I've become this person and I've become obsessed with myself in this way, in a humble way, I have attracted other people who are obsessed with me and treat me like a princess and see my value. If you can't see your own value, how are people going to see your value? Remember, when you glow up, people are not going to like that. The people who saw you at that version of yourself are not going to like that. And that's okay. Let them go with a lot of love, and everybody has their people, and not everybody's going to be able to come with you on this new journey of yourself. I love you guys so much. I hope this helped you. Remember, being obsessed with yourself from a self-love way is not narcissistic. Being so in love with who you are and who you want to be, so you could pour your overfilling cup into others and help others, is probably the most beautiful thing you could do on earth. So love yourself and watch everybody who's not loving you for you fall away.